Good day. Today we're going to look at the reconciliation of creditors, specifically question 6.4. Therefore, please follow in your question books with me. In this specific question, we need to prepare the creditors control account for the month of March and then also reconcile it with a list of creditors. They've also given us information with regards to the opening balance of our creditors control account. That was 17,320 Rand. Because we are making use of creditors, it means that we are dealing with a liability increasing on the credit side and decreasing on the debit side. The opening balance of 17,320 Rand, we will then fill it in on the credit side as what we are owing in total to our creditors. Then from the summary of the different reports for March, we need to select the information which we are going to use. In this specific case, they have given us a lot of information from the different reports, so we need to select carefully what is applicable to creditors. In the first instance, if you work from the top, you will see payments to creditors. Then the payments to creditors basically meaning reducing the liability that we have, and then they have said that we have paid our creditors in terms of payments to creditors 8,520 Rand. We write this in brackets. 8,520 Rand, because there might be other transactions that we still need to add on. The second item that we are going to use from the list of reports is the total credit purchases. Total credit purchases increases our liability, therefore purchases. And because they are mentioning purchases in this specific question, we are dealing with a periodic inventory system. The total purchases, again, because there might be other transactions happening, the total given to us 9,990 Rand. So we can add on any other transaction that might occur later on. Apart from the credit purchases, there are also credit notes which we have received, meaning that we have basically returned goods to our suppliers, therefore we don't owe the money. That total of 930 Rand will come to the debit side as part of purchases returns, reducing our liabilities, and we put the 930 Rand in brackets, and we can add on any other transaction that might follow later on. In the additional information, they said the total of the list of creditors on the 31st of March at the end of the month amounted to 15,900 Rand, and then we can fill in the total then. Remember that in this reconciliation process, we reconstruct the whole creditors control account, but we are not going to reconstruct each and every creditor's individual account. Therefore, we are just going to adjust the list for creditors balance that was given to us. The second piece of information, they said the total of the credit sales was undercast with by 100 Rand. They are mentioning credit sales. As soon as we sell to debtors on credit. Therefore, point number 2 is not applicable. Point number 3, the total for credit purchases this is what is applicable to this question, was overcast. Overcast meaning added up with too much. The credit purchases was overcast by 540 Rand. Therefore, that 9,990 Rand was added up with too much. Now we're going to subtract the 540 Rand. This only affected the credit purchases that was basically recorded from the general journal. It was not affecting an individual account, therefore no effect on the list of creditors. Point number 4, they said Macro traders returned goods at 1,200 Rand to a supplier. However, the temporary financial clerk issued an invoice instead of credit note. The document was recorded as an invoice in the general journal, but the bookkeeper realized this mistake and did not record anything in the creditor's ledger. So when we have a look, 1,200 Rand was supposed to be purchases returns. This purchases returns was recorded as an invoice, meaning as part of purchases. It was supposed to be purchases returns. Therefore, take it out of the purchases and add it to the purchases returns where it should be. Because nothing was recorded in the creditor's ledger, therefore we are now going to have this specific credit note 1,200 Rand, which is going to reduce what we owe to that specific creditor. At number 5, they said the account of Zyra's factory was paid late. We paid the account late and we were charged 80 Rand interest. Nothing has yet been recorded. Therefore, we're now going to experience an additional interest expense of 80 Rand. This 80 Rand increases our debt with the debtor, increasing our debt with the creditor, apologies, and also because nothing was recorded, we need to add this 80 Rand to the individual account of Zyra's factory. £80, increasing our debt. At number 6, Mr. Jones, who owes 800 Rand, was declared insolvent. Mr. Jones owed us. He was a debtor. We are now currently working with creditors, therefore no effect at all on this question. We ignore it. Number 7 said according to the account statement received from Fine Fabrics, a creditor, a cash payment made by us was not recorded by them. Fine Fabrics, the creditor, undertook to rectify the omission. We didn't make the error. The creditor made the error. Our books are 100% correct, so we don't need to change anything in our books and we can move on. Number 8, they said credit note. In other words, we have returned goods. Credit note was received from Ragaza Shops for 100 Rand and nothing was recorded. If nothing has been recorded, it will affect both the control account as well as the list of creditors. Credit note, meaning purchases returns, has not yet been recorded. So therefore the purchases returns, which is reducing our liability, will now be increased with another 100 Rand. And we need to add this also to, or take it into account on our list of creditors. And now we're going to have Ragaza Shops. And we don't owe them 100 Rand. So reducing our liability between brackets. And then at number 9, an original invoice to the amount of 110 Rand was posted to the wrong side of the account of Misty Traders. This only affected the individual account of the creditor, therefore there will be no effect on our control account. This will only affect our list of creditors. When an error occurred on the wrong side of an account, the correction will take place by twice the amount on the opposite side. Basically what it means is if we have Misty Traders and that specific 110 Rand was posted to the wrong side, meaning it reduced the liability instead of increasing the liability because it wasn't an invoice that was posted to the wrong side. The correction must be 2 times on the opposite side. The first time to cancel the erroneous error, but then basically nothing is remaining on the account. So we need to credit the account a second time with 110 Rand to reflect the amount now on the correct side. So in total, what happened was that Misty Traders account was credited with 220 Rand. And now we're going to have Misty Traders add this 220 Rand to the list of debtors, and there we have worked through all the additional information. Now we can finalize all the amounts and balance the accounts. So on the creditors control account, firstly the balance we have, purchases, we have got everything added up there and everything recorded. So this will now add up to 8,250 Rand. The interest expense was only the 80 Rand. On the debit side, the bank was only the 8,520 Rand. The purchases returns adds up to 2,230 Rand. And now we can clearly see when we need to balance the account that the credit side is more. So the biggest control total, the 25,650 Rand, will be used on both sides. 25,650. And now the balance of this account at the end of the month should now actually be 14,900 Rand. So in total, we owe the creditors 14,900 Rand. As part of the creditors to whom we owe that 14,900 Rand, we have adjusted the list, and now when we're going to add up our adjustments on the list of creditors, we will then also add up and get the amount of 14,900, and now we have reconciled the list of creditors with the creditors control account. Thank you very much, and goodbye.